Hey y'all, it's Diane with Shawcraft One, and I thought I would do a quick video to show you how I coffee stain my paper. A lot of people do it in the oven and all of that, and I do it in the oven, but I just want to show you like a quick version of how I do it, because I don't always have time to stand in the kitchen and, you know, coffee stain it and bake it and blah blah blah. So this is a quick version of how to do it without having to take a lot of time to do it. So what I do is I have, and excuse my washing machine, I know you can probably hear it running, but this is usually when I coffee stain my paper, is when I'm washing laundry, because, excuse the mess, but my washer is right there. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you drunk. But anyways, so quick version is I have this little pan. And yes, it has, you know, it just has little marks in the bottom of it, but I don't worry about that because it actually kind of gives me some good stuff. So I just take my little stack of paper, and I'm trying to do this one-handed, so bear with me. And I take my little jug of coffee, and it doesn't take much, but we drink 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day around here, so we always have leftover coffee. And then I just brush it on, and I do it generously, and I don't do it neatly or anything like that. I just brush it on just like that, and then stack some more in, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 sheets, however many I have time for, and brush some more. And I'm telling y'all, like I say, this is the quick way that I have found to do it, to where I don't have to stand in the kitchen, you know, for 2 or 3 hours trying to get my paper coffee stained. Okay, so I usually wait until I get like a whole big old stack. I usually try to fill this little pan up with paper and stuff. And the good thing is, if you leave some in here, you know, like it's kind of puddled up, then it gets the back of the next sheet that you're going to lay down in there. Okay, so then you just put a generous amount on the next sheets. And then sometimes I will take my little jar and I will pour some in. Just, you know, pour little bits in. You don't want a whole bunch. You know, you don't want it to melt your paper away. But that way you have a little bit of extra, so that when you put your next sheets in, you've got, you know, that's going to cover the bottom of that. And you can kind of see that it's, I hope the lighting's okay. My kitchen doesn't have the best of lighting. Well, it has pretty good lighting, but I'm kind of standing in front of the light, so you just keep adding paper. Adding coffee, and I kind of use what's kind of, you know, huddled in the bottom. Use it as well. Add some more. And like I say, I'm only doing like 1 or 2 sheets at a time, so it can soak through and get to the next sheet when I'm adding them in there. Okay, I just got a few more to do, and I'll show you what I do next. And I just use this little paintbrush just because it's a little easier than trying to dip it in a bowl. You know, don't make such a mess. I don't have to get my hands in it, because the coffee tends to just really dry my hands out real bad. But this way, if I do it this way, oops, well, I've slung it on the wall. Hang on, let me get that off. Okay, much better now. So try not to sling the coffee on your walls. And if you do, wipe it off pretty quick, because it will stain. So anyway, you kind of get the gist of that process. We'll just do this one last one. And then what I do is I walk away. I'll just leave this, okay? And then the next little extra bit of coffee that I have, I add some more paper in, add that on top until my pan is full. And that, you know, I mean, that's a pretty good stack of paper. You don't want to leave it too many days. I mean, 2 or 3 days, you can leave that sitting there, but it gives it time for the coffee to soak in. And I mean, it took us what, 5 minutes to do that? So you've started the coffee staining process, and you've done it in 5 minutes. So then the next evening when you get home from work, you check to see if it's stained enough for you. If it is stained enough for you, then you can go on to the next process. But if you want it to be a little darker or whatever, you can add more coffee to it. You can let it soak in a little more and then wait another day. So, you know, it's not taking you a whole lot of time to do your coffee staining. So the next step, excuse me, the next step, and thankfully I already have a batch done. I've already done this step, and I've gotten to this step, okay? And so what I do is when I pull it out of here, I just kind of separate it, you know, into 2 or 3 layers, and I pile it onto this. It's just a little baking sheet, you know, and this is my coffee staining baking sheet, so it doesn't get used for anything else, you know, but I just stack it all on here until it's time for it to go in the oven. And then when I have time for it to go in the oven, I'll show you what I do next. Okay, so the next step is, while I'm cooking dinner, we got chili cooking, I will take my oven racks out and line them with parchment paper. And then I just take what's in this pan, and I don't do it 1 sheet at a time. I'll do 2 or 3 sheets at a time, and I just lay it on here haphazardly. Let's see if I can zoom out enough so that you can see what I'm doing. But I just kind of lay it on here haphazardly and, you know, just get it on there. And I don't lay it in single layer sheets. You know, I kind of stack it pretty good up on there so that I can get as many sheets on one rack as I possibly can. And some of the paper, to me, needs coffee stained a little bit more. But what I do with those that come out that way is I'll take a stencil and spray some, like, I know a lot of people use the Tim Holtz dye inks. I make my own, so I use that, and I'll just spray them with a stencil, and it just kind of covers up that white area. So now I have, and you can kind of see, I've got like, I don't know, 3 or 4 pieces stacked together right here, you know. So then what I do, get that brush hair off there, is I heat my oven up, and y'all, I don't have time. Like I say, I don't have a whole lot of time. Let me stir my chili. To stand here with my oven at 250 degrees and wait for, you know, it to dry. So I kick my oven to 400. And the good thing is I do this while I'm cooking, so I'm in the kitchen anyway, you know. So I just take it over here, and you can see I already have one rack in there, and I put this rack in the oven. Excuse my dirty oven. And then I close it up. So I can watch as my paper's baking. Oops, sorry, got my finger in the way. This is a crazy video, but that's okay. I'm having fun. So I can just basically watch it while I'm cooking my chili. I can watch my paper on 400, and it comes out dry pretty quick. And, you know, with it being stacked like it is, if, you know, if the bottom pieces don't dry or whatever, I just kind of move them around on the, you know, on the rack until they're all dry. And then I pull them out, and sometimes I iron them, sometimes I don't. It's according to what I'm using them for. So anyways, that's basically it, guys. That is my quick and easy way of coffee staining paper. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. If you like my video, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.